Here we go. It's me, Evan, coming to you. Hope everyone's having a nice Monday. Gonna give things a minute here as per usual. Should have some exciting gameplay today. I don't know that I'm super confident in the deck, but we're gonna find out. Give it another 2 minutes here, and then we will get into things and go over what has been going on in the Magic world, which is some interesting stuff. It is pretty funny there, Vagrant. It's uh it's an okay-ish deck. I don't know. I know some people are very excited about it, but like I think I would have preferred to just see those 5 flip cards just come out in a secret layer by themselves for like $40. I think I would have been more excited about that. The deck itself should be left to build yourself. I think maybe it could have just been like cute to brute, secret layer, flip cards, or MDFCs, or whatever you want to call them. But so be it. Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and get things going. I thought that's Yeah, no, it's the whole deck. You have to get the whole deck, and it's like 150 US dollars or something like that. And knowing my history in buying secret layers, there is always some kind of surcharge at the border. Not well, I say always, it's not always the case, but the few times I've bought them, there has been a charge at the border, and then also you got to convert the prices into Canadian dollars, which makes it pretty pricey. And then there's taxes on top, plus the shipping fee, which I think is usually about $15-30. It adds up. I brought this up before. I think that secret layers have just gotten worse. We've had group discussions about this in Commander Nights, and in my heart of hearts, I want to believe that there was a point where secret layers were generally worth your value. Like, I know that the Black is Magic secret layer was like one of the best products I thought I ever bought for Magic. I was really in love with it. I thought it was really cool. The cards were awesome. And every time I cast them, I get the eyes wide, like, oh, what is that? That's cool. That's a beautiful soul ring. It's so cool. And like the curling wasn't that bad, and like everything about him was just kind of sweet. And then now here we are years later, and you would hope that they would have gotten better, but it seems like they always just kind of throw in like one good card, and then the other ones are like, I know that there is one secret layer that's out right now, and I think it's got Linvala as well as what's the 2 mana white card that stops your opponent from casting things on your turn? I know you know it, Vagrant. You've played it against me before. It's what is it? I'm just blanking on the name right now. It's not a maybe it's a human. It's white is what it is. Your opponents can't cast cards on your turn. Yeah, not Grand Abolisher. Yeah, so I think there's a secret layer right now that has Linvala, the good Linvala, and then it also has Grand Abolisher, I want to say, and that one seems like okay value. But still, it's just kind of feels like lackluster. It's like, okay, I'm getting these cards, and like What else is exciting? The last Secret Lair I bought was the one that you could get from your local game store, and that was the one with the Planeswalkers reimagined as if they were Phyrexian. And it had the Nicol Bolas in it, which just like I love Bolas and I love his cards, and it had like a really cool one. Um, I like the Black is Magic one, and then the International Women's Day one was awesome. Like that was like it had great cards in it, and they were cool reprints, and they were cool artworks, and there was just like good value. Um, and then there was also the one that came with um, it had like Consecrated Sphinx. It had Coco in it. I think Teferi's Protection was in there too, and that was for like a children's charity or something. So it seems like when they do the charity ones, they're pretty good. Um, but a lot of the time, yeah, they're just kind of like hitting the mark. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it. Welcome back. This is Magic Mondays. This is episode 9. So I'm excited to get to that double-digit number. That should be fun. Before we begin, if you're a Canadian resident who enjoys all things trading cards, follow the link in the description below. Check out ZephyrEpic.com. Wonderful things go on at ZephyrEpic.com. There's incredible deals on cards, accessories, box breaks, so much more. But we have events going on all the time in the store. If you're interested and live in the Lower Mainland, we invite you to come on down. We love our job. We love what we do. And the environment's awesome. And we really love having new faces come in too. So if you're into, whether it be Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Flesh and Blood, we host events every week for all those things. Monday would be Yu-Gi-Oh. Wednesdays is Flesh and Blood. Those are the Armory events. Those are official events, so you can get sweet promos. And then Pokemon League on Fridays. That is by far our busiest event. Yu-Gi-Oh is also very busy. But, we have spots for about 24 people, sometimes upwards of 30. So there's good stuff going on there. And then we'll have Paldea Evolve. That pre-release is going to be coming out at the end of the month. But we're hosting league challenges again, too. So, there's pre-registration available for that. I believe we still have maybe 1 or 2 spots left, but it might be full by now. Yeah, and then Sundays, Casual Commander. Come on down. There's usually a few prizes given out, just kind of random packs for high performance and creativity. And and you get to play with the staff. It's a good time. It's very quiet and chill, and it's just awesome. It's a good environment. Black is Magic, that one that was released like years ago now. It had Soul Ring, Teferi, Path of Ancestry. Was there... What else was in there? I can't even remember. Black is Magic. Secret Lair. Let's find out. Cultivate was in there too. Yeah, that one was awesome. Oh yeah, look at this. It's got Shalai, Ponder, Kaya. Like there was so much value in there. It was awesome. Like I loved it. And I had spots for every single one of the cards in decks already. And I was like, these are awesome. Minus Kaya. But that was also Kaya Ghost Assassin, which was not a commonly reprinted card. And even at the time, like even now, it's like it's a decent card. It doesn't really see much play, but it was a hard card to get because I think that was the conspiracy one. And like it's not a bad card. Like reading it right now. Yeah, you get to exile something, return those cards to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step and lose 2 life. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So the cool thing about it is I guess you're like flickering Kaya. Return that card up to 1 target creature or up to 1 target creature. I see. Okay, so yeah, you can flicker Kaya to maintain her loyalty. That's how it works. I see. So it doesn't have an uptick, but you can keep resetting it at 5. It's still great. Like each opponent discards card and you draw a card. That's pretty good value, and for 4 mana, not the worst. Anyway, so this past weekend, let's talk about Pro Tour. So Pro Tour March of the Machine finishes off, and not surprisingly, Rakdos midrange. That's the talk of the town. It continues to be the most powerful deck. It continues to be the most played deck. And that means one thing, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That card saw, I believe it was a 64% play rate at the entire event. Most decks running a 4 of in their deck lists. Those are high numbers. I think the last time we had a ban, it was Meat Hook Massacre for the same reason. That Meat Hook Massacre got banned because it was seeing so much play and it was really restricting any sort of aggro type deck. But yeah, Rakdos midrange is just too dominating, and people are starting to think that Fable of the Mirror Breaker might be the next ban that's going to be happening. Considering that you can kind of get an engine going with Fable of the Mirror Breaker and effectively guarantee like 2 to 3 tokens every turn is pretty insane, and get so much value out of it. It's pretty intense. Is it true green is actually a bad color? Not really. There is some Selesnya builds that are doing poison stuff, and it's good. Like it does the job. Green is powerful right now, but yes, like Rakdos, black is probably the most powerful color with Shieldred and stuff, and then red is pretty close behind with a lot of like variants on red aggro decks. I know we've played a lot of red aggro on this show. The reason being, and I was thinking about this the other day and just kind of trying to get insightful about the case of standard Magic. If you're gonna grind the ladder, and like it's mono red aggro, it's cheap to build. Once you build it, you don't really need to add new cards to it. There's not really new sets that bring such powerful cards that you want to be cycling out a bunch of cards. It does its job. It goes in hot. It just blasts. It goes hard. Fires on all cylinders. And you know, Fable the Mirror Breaker even fits into some of those decks as more of like a mid-range alternative. So it's time to see a change in standard. But the funny thing has occurred. There is some crazy new news that was dropped. I believe it was yesterday. So on top of the announcement with Pro Tour Top 8 and the finishes with Fable the Mirror Breaker, we have this very interesting article. That's right. We're revitalizing Standard. So this was published, Aaron Forsyth. This was on May 7th, so just yesterday, as I said. So Standard is and has long been vital to thriving local game stores, regular play, a robust competitive tabletop scene, local metagames, and that cheeky, friendly competitive edge is infused into so many local game stores when Standard struggles, stores take note. This is something I have experienced myself. I'm sure a lot of you gamers out there can relate to this who play Magic the Gathering. Pioneer is kind of taken over where Standard used to be, but it's a non-rotating format, so it's really nice because you can hold on to those cards and be able to use them despite rotation. So their way of changing this, yeah, starting with current Standard environment, sets will rotate every 3 years rather than every 2 years. That means Innistrad Crimson Vow, Midnight Hunt, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, and Streets of Campana will rotate out of Standard, but in 2024. So we are going to hold on to those sets for the next Standard cycle, which means that Super Standard doesn't occur this summer. It's next summer that we see Super Standard. Modern Horizon sets are not legal in Pioneer, thankfully. No, it was only Standard sets are legal in Pioneer. And the only and then there's obviously like a pretty extensive ban list, including all the fetch lands. So anyway, pretty interesting stuff to see Standard changing. This means that people are going to be speccing on cards. It means that triomes are probably going to maintain a pretty high price tag for the next little while. Who knows what's going to happen? It's a strange thing. It's a strange time. I'm very curious to see how it all comes together. We're going to see a lot of customization, though. We're going to see a lot of new stuff coming out. Like, hey, like Eldraine is coming out. That was historically has been a monocolored set. This might mean that we're going to see even more power going into the mono black decks, mono red decks. Who knows? It's a strange time. We really don't know what to expect with the next future of Magic. But yeah, the next set, Wilds of Eldraine, that's going to be coming out in September, and we'll have a better idea then what we're going to be faced with. But it's a very strange time in Magic, especially with the 3-year Standard cycle. It means a lot of those cards that people were maybe going, oh, it's time for me to sell this because it's not going to be allowed in Standard. They might be regretting some of those decisions right now. Fable the Mirror Breaker being one of them. We all were kind of personally, I was secretly hopeful that, hey, we can finally put an end to that. We don't have to see any of those shenanigans anymore, but lo and behold, it will be sticking around. Let's see some engines. Who knows? There might be some crazy stuff coming out. Anyway, yeah. So, moving forward, today we are going to continue our experimentation with the lovely Monastery Mentor. I want to see this card succeed so desperately, and I know a lot of you enjoy watching it. Uh, who knows? We might be able to pull something off with this new build. It is going to be an Azorius control shell this time. So we've go ahead and cut red out of there, try to cut some of the aggro stuff and add a few more of the control-y elements to try to maintain a pretty even state of the board. The thing I have noticed with this deck in my testing so far is that I believe it would do better in a best of 3 format, but it does tend to hold its own pretty well. The aggro decks do kind of trump over it, even though it's got a few board wipes and stuff, but it does still do a bit of a good job. So yeah, let's find out. Let's get into some gameplay, and yeah, let's go ahead and get going. Okay, so all right, so here we are. This is the deck list that I've put together for this. So you can see I did add a sideboard because I was prepared to be able to play it in best of 3. So let's go ahead and break this down. Obviously, we've got the 4 copies to consider. This is a staple right now in Standard. It replaces Opt. If we see Opt come back in, this is going to be played alongside it. We have our 3 copies of Spell Pierce, 2 copies of Fateful Absence, 4 copies of Spirited Companion. This is just to get a body down early, but also be able to maintain our 7-card hand. Make Disappear, one of the best counter spells in Standard right now. Reckoner Bankbuster, this was recently added to the deck, in fact, just this morning, so this is the first time we're testing with it. I took out 2 copies of Wedding Announcement for Reckoner Bankbuster, because I was finding that we don't really want to be getting to 3 mana and then just slamming down a Wedding Announcement or a Monastery Mentor. We really want to be able to hold some stuff up. Having the Reckoner Bankbuster be the card that we can pay 2 mana and draw a card off of is pretty valuable. We are playing one of the new battles. This is Invasion of New Phyrexia. This card is all value. It's awesome. The Teferi itself, not that insane, but it does its job. It's not too bad. And hey, you get a bunch of 2/2s out of it, and then you can make them basically just turn into like 4/2s with Ward 2. So that's pretty sweet. Obviously we have our namesake card, Monastery Mentor, with the Phyrexian Invasion, the Infect logo in the background there, the Phyrexian symbol. And then we have our 2 copies of Wedding Announcement, 4 copies of the Wandering Emperor, probably the best Planeswalker in Standard right now that won't be rotating. We have 3 copies of Meeting in the Mind. Since we make so many tokens, this proves to be a pretty valuable card for us. It does allow us to draw some bonus cards, and it's an instant, so you can do it at the end of their turn, which is pretty valuable for us. And then we have a single copy of Sunfall. This was added just the other day as well. And I found it to be quite good, especially against the aggro decks. But we'll see what happens. Because, yeah, we need to get this to actually create a decent Incubate X token. But, yeah. Anyway, standard types of build here as far as the land base goes. 4 Seacrum Coast, 4 Adakar Waste. We've decided not to put in the check land that sees if you have 3 or more, or 2 or more Deserted Beach. So we decided to leave that out of this build because we really want to be able to have untapped land during your opponent's turn. A couple copies of Mishra's Foundry. This is just efficient for us to be able to turn it into a creature and be able to defend ourselves a little bit. We don't really care about losing those. Yeah, I'm playing Iganjo in here. I'm playing Otawara. I have found Iganjo to be pretty valuable just as a card that we can use to just protect ourselves a little bit. And same with Otawara. It does its job pretty well. And yeah, it's an efficient card. In the sideboard, we have 4 copies of Essence Scatter. That would be to play against the heavy creature decks. We have 3 copies of Mondrak, Glory Dominus. This is to face off against those other decks that might be kind of long-term, mid-rangey decks. This will allow us to really duplicate our tokens and get a whole bunch of power down. Ossification, which is a wonderful removal spell. Teferi, Temporal Pilgrim, which is a card that I'm debating just putting in the deck anyway. Farewell, couple copies of Farewell. Obviously, probably the best total board wipe that has existed in a long time. It's fantastic. It does its job, and it knows what it's doing. Eternal Wanderer, which is another fantastic Planeswalker. And we might change some of these out. And then finally, we have White Sun's Twilight. We might flip some of these out for other cards throughout the evening. But let's test with this first, and then we can kind of play around with our sideboard and see what we might want to add to the deck. And I'm hoping to get feedback from all of you into what you believe would be the best course of action. So without further ado, let's save this. Let's go ahead and jump into standard ranked play. I think it's a better shell too. It seems awesome. I'm really enjoying playing it a lot more than the other variants that I've had. But it doesn't have the best win rate just yet. But it does grind out games and tends to make people give up. Okay, so we don't have a lot of early plays here. Meeting the Minds is not really going to do much for us here. We don't really want this on just 2 mana. And we don't really want to be casting it just to create the 1/2/2. 2 Wandering Emperors, it's a little bit steep for my liking. And I've honestly been debating taking out a copy of this because too many is just no good. Let's go ahead and mulligan this. Let's hope for something better. Okay, so we can keep this. I think we'll put back a Plains here. And yeah, and then just hoping to draw into some more power. There's our opponent starting things off. They just got a Llanowar Wastes. We are going to slam our Seachrome Coast, and we are going to pass the turn. We'll see if we end up needing to use this Spell Pierce. Alternatively, we can just draw at the end of their turn. Yeah, full Salt Shaker, that's right. So they are doing nothing. Let's go ahead and Surveil. Yeah, we're going to keep that on top because we'd like to draw that. We want to have some of those payoffs. We're going to play another Seachrome Coast here. Now, based on what I'm seeing, I'm going to assume that they're playing a creature-centric deck. Just given their colors. Blue is basically like the red flag. They're doing stuff on your turn type thing in standard right now. So I'm going to go ahead and play our Reckoner Bankbuster now so we can start cashing in on it later. And here comes a body. Yep, there's Graveyard Trespasser. Okay. Let us play our final dually here. And we have the 2 Spell Pierces in hand, but frankly, I think they're most likely only going to be using stuff that's going to remove our creatures. But it might be better for us to just hold it up and then be able to remove counters from this thing. I don't really love slamming the Wedding Announcement. This is what I was saying earlier. This is a card that I found to be subpar in the deck. So let's go ahead and just pass the turn. Okay, they're going to get us for 4 here. That's okay. They're not exiling anything, so they're not going to be gaining any life. We'll take 4. And let's see what they're really going to be playing here. Fable the Mirror Breaker. That's the card. Okay, so let's go ahead and Spell Pierce that. And then we're going to go ahead and draw a card. So we're happy we did that, right? Okay, so now we're going to be putting this down. And there's kind of 2 schools of thought here. So we can play our Monastery Mentor and then hold up the Spell Pierce in case they have another one of the Fable of the Mirror Breakers. I personally like the idea of just holding up the Spell Pierce in the Fateful Absence. We can easily discard this Plains to this card if we have to use its ward ability. And we can still draw an additional card. So let's go ahead and just pass the turn. Yeah, let's go ahead and pass the turn. Something to note is they're going to be playing pretty carefully into not casting 2 spells in a turn because they don't really want this to flip back. So they're not going to be hitting our creature card. Now we're going to go ahead and do this. Yep. Discard a card. We'll discard our Plains. Yeah, we will resolve that. There's that. We'll give them a clue token here. And then see what they have. Blood Tithe Harvester. Okay. We can't do anything about that. They're gonna make a blood. And our turn, let's nab a card here. Okay, that's not bad for us. Okay, so this is pretty good. So now I think we want to start establishing our board a little bit. Let's go ahead and get this Monastery Mentor down, holding up our Spell Pierce / our Reckoner Bankbuster. They probably have the kill spells for this, but that's okay. And we end our turn. That's fine with us. They can go ahead and draw that card. As you can see, we're playing very, very conservatively. These Rakdos decks, I mean, I guess they're playing green as well. They have such a tendency to just navigate the entire board and manage it. So having two of these is pretty scary. So essentially what they can do is just start picking off our things, and then they can start bringing these guys back, and it's a whole mess. If you've played against this engine, it's very frustrating. Blood Tithe Harvester has proven to be one of the best cards in Standard. Okay, so we're going to attacks now. Let's not forget, I cannot crew this right now. So they're skipping over their combat there. Okay, so they are going to be trying to give this thing -X/-X, where X is twice the number of blood they control. It seems greedy for them to be doing this, but I get it. So let's let this resolve. Yeah, there's nothing we can really do. So let's go ahead. We have to let this resolve. Now they might cast something else. Shieldred, maybe? Nope, nothing from them. So we're going to just go ahead and we're going to draw again. And now we get the triggers on Reckoner Bankbuster, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. So we got our pilot and we got our treasure. Alrighty, let's get our Mishra's Foundry out. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can pay into Invasion of New Phyrexia. I think that's something that we want to be doing. Alternatively, we could pay 3 into it and just hold up our Spell Pierce, which I don't hate either. What do we think there, team? I think it's better for us to get as many bodies out as possible. Or do you think that we should hold up the Spell Pierce no matter what? Let's get 3 bodies out. So we'll get this for blue, white. This will be colorless. 1 and 2. So that makes for 3. We are going to hold this up. Yeah, I like holding the mana too. Oh, you know what? Just occurred to me. We want to tap this one too, because we have our treasures, so we can go ahead and use that too. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So we make 4 2/2s. Pretty good card, eh? Not bad for the value of X. And they're knights with vigilance, so that's great too. Jump to combat here. Yeah, we will not crew this. It keeps us up with like such a fantastic blocker that we can hold on to for later. Let's see what they're doing here. We are not going to be attacking, so let's go ahead and end our turn. There's the Shieldred. Okay, well, we cannot do much about that. Except play it out. Let's see if they have prepared a kill spell for one of our buddies here. Pass to attackers. Okie dokie. That is our turn. We're going to draw. We're going to lose some life. Yep, we know. Okay, so I know we're going to lose 2 life for it, but I do believe that Consider is a spell that we want to be casting. If we can get another one of these down, we're going to be in a really good spot where we have an overwhelming board state. So let's go and put our land down. Let's Consider, despite paying 2 life for it. Spirited Companion. Do we want the dog? We don't really want to be paying 4 life right now. Okay, there's more card draw, so it's not really ideal. Let's play our wedding announcement, and they... Yeah, they just kind of wait out the clock, I think. They're going to be gaining a lot of life, and they're going to be sacking their bloods to be able to get even more card draw. They might sacrifice both of these in the end step. Now, if I swing with all of these here, tap X target creatures you control. When you do, shuffle target non-land permanent opponent controls in the... Right, so I need to tap 4 to convoke this and use its ability. Let's crew the buddy. Let's go to combat here, and we're going to swing everything at our invasion. And see what they do. We still have our Mishra's Foundry that we can activate later if we wanted to. Yep, okay, there's not much we can do about that, but that's okay. Yeah, and we have no other place. I'm going to get an emblem here. I don't really care if Teferi dies. I just like to make these bigger. I don't really, like I said, I don't really want to be drawing cards unless it's winning me the game. Sadly, there's no way for us to deal 1 damage to this. Oh, well, okay, they just didn't like seeing us control the board, so that's how that's going to go. They want to really grind out those games. So our response to Shieldred right now is going to be just that 1 kill spell. I think an argument could be made that we could be playing this card, Lay Down Arms, exile target creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of planes you control. Downside being Seachrome Coast is not a planes, so we only have the 7 in the deck. But Bankbuster did some really good work for us there, so I'm happy that we put it in there. I have been checking out some of the Lord of the Rings cards. I don't really like the whole the ring tempts you mechanic. I think that it's a little bit lopsided. That can happen sometimes. It just feels like there's no downside to it, and it seems like it's pretty easy to trigger. So I think a lot of people will be trying to lean towards abusing it, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the sideboard and stuff here and decide if we want to start putting in some different cards. Now, one thing we ran into there was, how do I take part of these? So what did we want to see happening there? Ossification would be good against our opponents playing those Shieldreds and stuff. I think Ossification is just good enough as a removal spell that we probably want to be playing it. I don't love Sunfall unless we need it. That's kind of the awkward thing with this whole thing, is the fact that the board wipes are really good against those that are playing those aggro decks, but they're really not that good otherwise. So let's go ahead and put this in the sideboard, and then let's put a copy of Ossification in here. Let's try that out. I think we could probably... Yeah, we put one of these away, and I want to take out this Teferi as well. So I want to try playing this. This seems like an awesome card. It makes us tokens. It does things. I don't mind that. And hey, we have a bunch of draw spells, so why not? All right, back into the games. We made a couple changes. We put Ossification in the deck, and we put the Temporal Pilgrim in here, Teferi. So let's see if he can do some work for us. So lore buffs out there will know that Teferi has officially lost his spark. He is no longer a planeswalker. Same goes for Koth, Karn, Nissa. Nahiri has lost her spark. This is kind of the same as what we experienced last time. We don't really want this too early on. Okay, this isn't much better, but hey, we can get our Swift Spears out. Too bad we don't have any blue mana. Opponent's going first. We are on the draw. Let's put one of these lands away. Okay, it looks like this person's also trying to make this deck work. Unless they're playing Esper Legends, which is a very awesome deck right now. You have a good loyal pup. Reckoner Bankbuster, okay. Still no blue mana and no third mana. But we do have something to kill any creature that they do play out, which might be happening right now. Nothing. Okay, so we can't do anything. This is a tight spot. Oh, did I say Swift Spear instead of Mentor? Yeah, I've done that. Still nothing, hey? Okay. And I need a discard. This is not looking good for us. I think we end up pitching a Spell Pierce here. Yep, that makes sense. Let's pitch this. We are missing our land drops here, guys, so I don't really see this being the best turn of events. Let's see. There's a land. Okay, so now we have our third. You know that they have all the counter spells in the world right now, but we have 3 Swift Spirit, or 3 Mentors. Almost got it. Almost got it. Almost got. Okay, go ahead and counter that. Make Disappear. There's a wedding announcement. They're setting up their board nicely. This looks very similar to our deck. There's their Bankbuster. Cracking in for 4. No problem. Another Seachrome Coast, but hey, we're happy to see lands coming our way. Let us consider our options. I think we're probably better to just hold up the 3 mana. Haven't done much of anything this game, but that's okay. Let's see what they got here. Maybe we can stagger one of their plays. This is awesome. That's what we wanted to see. We get to Spell Pierce this. They're using their 1 treasure. That's great. They can use that later on if they want to. And pass to the end of my turn. What old cycle is missing cards still? Like, besides the Modern Horizons ones, the ones that are, like, 2-color, you can sack them to draw a card. Because I guess they've never finished that one. Okay, they're crewing. How do those ones read again? 2 or more basic lands? Is that what it is? Yeah, I know that one. Okie dokie. We need to get something out here. We're about to be taking a whole lot of beats when that wedding announcement flips over and all their creatures get buffed. That's our whole entire turn. Let's see what they got. I think we probably want to be playing a card like Memory Deluge, but it is kind of steep in its mana costs. I don't know how easy it's going to be for us to stabilize from us being pushed back. Maybe eventually, like, Amonkhet is kind of like a ravaged plane, right? Like, in the story, there's like one god left. The place is just a bubble, and it's just like people in pandemonium having to deal with the fact that their entire lives were dedicated to this god pharaoh that they believed was the hero that was going to bring them safety and protection for the rest of their days in the terrible plane of Amonkhet, but not the case. It ended up being bullish, and it's a whole thing, right? So honestly, I don't know. I don't know that we'll be going back there because what's there to do? You know, I guess suppose they could, but they might have to wait a few years and do the whole Kamigawa thing where it's like, oh, all of a sudden it's been 1,000 years. Okay, let's think about what we want to do here. I think we are going to Ossification. We're going to get rid of this pilot. Oh, target this. Create our 1/1. They might counterspell it. Yep. Take this thing. And then let's pass the turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast this Meeting of Minds, which will trigger our Monastery Mentor here and our Prowess Monk, and it'll get us 2 cards in our hand. But they'll be tapped, but still. They probably got some tricks up their sleeve here. Sure. Maybe with this 3-year standard cycle, we'll be able to have the Jeskai mid-rangey control deck that I've been waiting for. Yep. We're going to let them have that. They're looking at the top 7 here, and then they're going to put 2 in their hands. We're just going to deal with it. Okie dokie. Yeah, let's pass to blockers. We're going to block like this. Invoke this. Trigger. They lose their body, and they have no mana up, which means now we can start doing things. So they've established their board nicely into nothing. I guess if they have a land, which they should. Never mind, they played their Crystal Grotto. So pitching some cards, let's see what they got. Deals 3 damage, start attacking or blocking creature. If this creature would die, exile it instead. Like, this is a card that we could consider playing. I don't think it's quite good enough. I mean, the art's fantastic, but worth considering, right? Elspeth's Smite. Now, important question of the evening. We are going to be playing this as a land because we want that 5th one. So I already have the singular Swiftspear. Yeah. 3 damage, started attacking or blocking creature. It's like probably good enough, but it's not so valuable for us. I don't know. I just feel like it's better in like a more aggro focused build. For 1 mana, it's good though. And it exiles, which is handy. So I don't have a 2 mana spell in my hand, though I really wish I did. Let us cast this for as much as we can, which will be 3. Auto pay here. Yeah, sideboard for aggro is probably a good call. I would agree with that. Now, do we want to kill that thing? Let's get a Planeswalker, right? Let's get a Planeswalker. Now we cast this for free. We get the triggers on that again. Build up a huge board. Yeah, let's draw 2 cards and then discard a Monastery Mentor.
You are not going to like what's next.
Not bad, right? Okay, let's see if we can maintain the stabilization, though. Like I said, I'm playing board wipes. They probably are too, so it's a thing. Gotta watch out for it, and they might be able to incubate. There's our Sunfall, so as expected, they're going to incubate and create a huge buddy. They can do it at instant speed, though. And they're destroying our Planeswalker at the same time, so this is very much tit for tat.
The multiverse was depending on us.
Okay, a little bit too late with that, but that's okay. Let's get our... Yeah, let's get another Swiftspear down. If we can start building out this board again, I think we're going to be pretty happy about it. This just flips, so there's nothing we can do about that, but it won't have haste, or it will be able to attack when it flips. But it's just a 8/8. No big deal, we can handle an 8/8. Let's do our wedding announcement. Congratulations, we're getting married. Make some bodies. Stabilize. Stabilize. That's what we want to see. Ah, I see. Welcome to the party. You were invited too. Another wedding announcement. Okay. They got 2 invites. I'm not offended. And let us now cast our friend, the Wandering Emperor. Do a lot of things. Now,
anyone who harms my people must contend with me.
I think we probably just put a counter. Well, let's think. Do we want a 2/2 with Vigilance instead? Making tokens does sound pretty saucy for us right now. Let's put a counter on something and give it first strike. I like putting it on our monk here. Do we want on the Swiftspear? Help solidify it being active. I honestly don't know. I think we'll put it on our mentor. Swiftspear. I did it again.
I have got
Okay,
news
so
to
do
teach
I
you.
want to be attacking now is the next question. They can crew their buddy if they tap both of them and then block, but I get first strike. How does first strike work again? So I'll hit the first human. Is it better for me to attack, though? I don't know if it's favorable with first strike. I can kill them both with first strike, right? It's better for me to attack, right? Yes? I always forget how this works. I get so confused by first strike, double strike. But then I always think back on Thalia when you try to double block Thalia and then it hits you both. Not nice. Okay, now we can do things at their end step. It's 3 or more, right? 2 or more. Okay. You know what? I do play Voltron EDH, but still, first strike, double strike confuses me so much every time. It's first strike, double strike versus multiple blockers. That's what really, like, okay, I don't know what's going on anymore, you know? So if we spell Pierce, force them to pay 2 more, we could also do the Make Disappear. Let's do Make Disappear first. We could Casualty, too. I don't mind that. Yeah, let's sack this. And I get 4 triggers on this. And then we get our... Yeah. So we're going to be targeting this. So, right. So I got to start treating it as separate phases. So then in the instances of double strike, if they have 3 blockers, it first strike damages all of them, and then you guys do your damage at the same time, right? Yeah, I getcha. Okay, well, we're gonna pitch a buddy in front of this, and now we can just kill it because they were foolish. Sure thing. Yeah, let's play this. Let's exile this. Yeah, they did activate our trap card. Reading the card explains the card, you fool.
You're done.
Okay, let's draw. Okay, let's play the best dog in the world. Sad. Draw some more cardage. Mishra's Foundry not doing much for us here. And not doing much else. And beef our buddies. They're about to beef their buddies a lot, though. I don't think we've quite stabilized yet, folks. Not quite yet. We're protecting ourselves, but stabilized? Ugh. So what do we need off the top? We need the Mythic off the top. The one that's going to make us a bunch of 2/2s. That'll put us in a pretty good spot. I wonder if In the Trenches we'll see any play. Another Sunfall, hey? Ay, ay, ay. Spell piercing, that's just going to make their buddy bigger. So there is nothing we can do. Okay, let them have it. Yeah, it can exile for 6, but only once. That's the thing that's really lame about it. We're in hot water now. I don't think I would be playing it, but I'm just curious, like, if we think it'll be worth playing just as an anthem. Okay, so we're gonna be using Fateful Absence to kill their 10-10. Oh, you can't even counter it, can you? Okay, well, we still have our Foundry that we can utilize. Okay. Training Grounds is going to be standard legal once, well, Friday. Friday it'll be legal. At my face. Yep. We're sacking the land here. Target attacking assembly worker. Not very good. You activate this multiple times, it would still become a 2/2. Yeah. Don't think we want a Fateful Absence here, because we want to wait for them to possibly get that 10-10 out. So now we're kind of hoping that we do get, like, something to remove all the creatures. It's not likely, though. Let's draw 2 cards here and hope for the best. That's not much. Wedding Announcement gets us a body here. Make disappear with casualty. Well, I'm not going to waste my mana on that. I think that we're probably done on this one. Make a 2/2 here. We'll lose our Wandering Emperor.
Training. For this? Let your blade do the talking.
So this is the circumstance in which I think that Farewell really would do incredibly well. And maybe, hey, maybe we just want to be playing Farewell. Maybe we just want a couple of copies of it. I mean, look at this. We can wipe out this whole thing. We lose, what, this and this? Hopefully get a Planeswalker off the top, play that. Yeah, it's nuts. It's so powerful. Okay, well. What are you doing now? Okay, so now we're gonna do the same thing to them. We don't want to take that 4. So we've learned so far, we definitely want Farewell in the deck. There's Memory Deluge back at us. Like, maybe we just want more copies of Sunfall, too. Sunfall is incredible. It exiles all creatures, though, right? Yeah, well, it doesn't hit planeswalkers too, which is funny. Okay, well, we're drawing into Oblivion here. Let's hope for the best. That is not what we wanted. What is she doing for us? Making it 3/3. Potentially blocking. Potentially exiling their 10/10. Yeah, it's good enough. Play a planes. Let us pass the turn. They have a glove there. They have full mitt. The thing is, we want to trap them, and we want to use this card to exile their thing, but they probably will just hold up counter magic. All right, homie, what do you got? There it is. Being transformed. Huh? So they have the counter magic. I think we're just toast here. I mean, we still hold up the Spell Pierce, but... Memory Deluge in response. So let's stagger that play. So if they want to see that occur, I'm hoping that they're digging for counter magic. But if they've got it, they've got it. They don't.
I've learned much during my travels.
Kill
Let
this.
me show you.
Okay, let's call us stabilized
My
again
judgment
here.
is fine.
Oh man, what a game! We basically, I think we played 2 games so far. That control, baby. Okay, there's their 4th wedding announcement. Ooh, we don't like to see that. Okay, nothing to be done except... Do I make a 1/1 just to block here? Or make a 3/3, I guess.
We must protect the people.
We must protect the people. They're going to combat. Let's fight. No, we have to let it through. Yeah, it's a hall of mirrors. Ooh, this is a card I considered putting in my deck too. This card's awesome. Flying Shark Boy. Okay, well I lose to a giant flying shark. That's where Magic's at these days. And we drew into nothing. Okay, everybody. Well, that's too bad. We lost that one. Okay, so let's sort of review what happened there. We found that having a card like Farewell would have been very awesome. So I think we definitely want to be running board wipes in this deck. Despite the fact that it's going to be killing off our stuff, it's probably going to be valuable enough that we want to be holding that power in our hands. So let's take a look at this again. Okay, let's put a copy of Farewell on here. Sunfall in here. And another copy of Farewell. Now let's take out the ossification that we put in. Teferi Temporal Pilgrim is probably going to be good. Let's actually take out the Sunfall. We'll just try doing the Farewell thing. And let's take out a singular copy of... I don't think Meeting of the Minds is really doing... Like, it's good, not great. Let's put one of those back. I did find Ossification to be really good, though. Possibly better than the Bank Busters. So let's put the Bank Busters back. Let's try this build. What do we think? Put a couple copies of Farewell in here. We got our Teferi. We got to put this guy away. I think we probably want to get a fourth one of these, but I don't have the wild cards for it. Typical. We got a draft token there. We can always pull out some Spirited Companions if we don't think it's necessary. And we could play Eternal Wanderer. Or White Sun's Twilight. Let's try this. We're going to be tapping in and out here. Like, should we be playing 4 or nothing of this card? It's possible. You know what? It did pretty good work for us, so let's just keep it. Let's try this out. So we threw in a couple board wipes there. We made sure that we had a decent amount of walkers. We put in some additional removal and ossification. Let's see what we can do. Ooh, big bad. Okay, this we can keep. Clear a dually. Mono red aggro. Here we go. Spell pierce it. Let's stagger him off the bat. And we're passing the turn again. We can make disappear whatever they play now. I'm doing it. Sure, Phoenix chick. Okay. I'm more scared of the Swift Spear than the Phoenix chick. I don't think we play this for 1, but I tell you what we do. We put full control on and pass the turn. Wink. Wink. Just scare him into thinking that we have something. Okay. Okay, they're not giving itself haste, which is kind of funny. So this is one of those times we're doing that Elspeth's, whatever, what was it? Elspeth's, whatever, does 3 damage. It would be pretty good here. Wink. Raw. Another Seachrome Coast. Too little too late, though. Let us make 2 buddies. Okay. Thanks, I hate it. Okay. Now you're gonna give it to yourself. Oh, no. Okay, they got us down to 13. They have a singular card in hand. Nothing else going on for them. Yeah, I mean, I missed that. So let's go ahead and just kill this thing. Sure. This card's pretty good. And the Festivity's doing nothing, but just getting a counter. Okay. Player to fairy.
Faced with tragedy, even observers need to take action. Who's that handsome devil?
Who is doing the voice acting for Teferi? That's so funny. Who's that handsome devil? We don't really want to see Teferi die, do we? No, we need to stabilize a little bit. Okay.
Relax. This is supposed to be fun.
Get a counter on it. Draw a card? Let me think here. So if I do Meeting of the Minds, that does leave 2 mana up for me. It draws me 2 cards, puts Teferi at 4 now. Then we create another 2/2. It keeps them really threatened by our Teferi, and it puts us in a spot where next turn we're going to be able to Invasion of New Phyrexia into quite a bit. They only have the single card, as we mentioned, so they probably pitch it. Okay, I like to think it's just a land. They really want to keep that land. See, they should have done that first. Sure, hit me. I'm gonna be losing to Fairy here, but let's block your token. See you, pal.
I'm sure I'll laugh about this later.
And for 4. Alright, let us get 4 knights out. They get their Fable, which they can make a copy of the Electrostatic Infantry, I guess, and just make it bigger, bigger, bigger. Ooh, this card has been seeing some appearances, even in that top 8 I was talking about. X damage to each of up to X target 2 targets, okay. Ouch.
You're toast.
Wait, did I cast 2 of these this game? Maybe I did. What do I want to do here? I think I probably want my Mentor down. Holding up the Make Disappear. Let's go to combat first. We're going to swing it all at Chandra. We want that thing gone. And they don't really want to lose the reflections. So, heated battle here. Let's see what they got. Okay, so they are just letting it survive. Okay. All that work for nothing, you say, hey? Okay, let's play our Mentor. Kind of like playing this too. I know it's insane. Like I could hold up the make disappear. I think let's hold up the make disappear. That's silly. Okay, so they got a couple instants and sorceries. So
I'm ending this fight.
3 damage to our Monastery Mentor. Oh, they get to copy it, right? Oh man, this card's insane. Okay, pitching it to draw a new card. They're attacking with their 3/4. I mean, got trample. Wedding announcement isn't terrible. I'm gonna draw a new card though. Ossification. Ooh, I can exile their Chandra now. Okay, this is great for us. So now we can get rid of this. Give me that.
I'm all out of fuel.
Not gonna attack. Whatever they cast, we're gonna be make disappearing. Oy. That'll do it, folks. Alright, well, even if I had copied it, it wouldn't have done enough. We just can't catch a break with this deck, can we? What else could we do to it here? Keeping those creatures off the board early is terrifying. I did find Teferi to be very, very awesome. I think we probably want more copies of Ossification. Like, that card seems awesome in here. You know what? I'm going all in on Ossification here. And we'll call it done. Open up a pack. Mythic wildcard? Nope. Guardian of Girapure. Thank you very much, my friend. I hope to see you next week in the same place, same time. Enjoy your evening. Alright, we will call this the last game of the evening. Gotta give it a whirl. Alright, this is looking pretty good. What we want to see. Okay, let's see. Well, we need our blue mana up, so maybe we don't want to be taking damage just yet. Let's pass the turn. Find out what they're playing. If I was going to guess, it would be red. Oh, look at that. And there's the Phoenix chick. Yeah, let's consider. Let's pitch that land. I want to see more draw spells, ideally. Okie doke, there's a Sea Chrome Coast. We can hold that up with our Make Disappear now. I'm happy countering that. Spell Pierce it. Sure. We want to see them burn out their hand here against this deck. Let us continue to hold things up. So we're still going to hold up our Make Disappear. We're going to hold up our Consider. There's a Play with Fire. Well, are we that scared of taking 2 damage? Not really. If they're using it on us, what else could they be thinking? Let's wait to see if they have another play. Okay, Swift Spear, I want that gone. Make Disappear this. Gonna hit me for 1 here. And let's Consider. Yeah, let's take another one, sure. There's the Ossification too. Okay, so now I think we want to get our Swift Spear down. We're just gonna have to play around whatever they got for a turn. We're gonna be taking some beats, but we can make this work. I have faith. I hope you do too. Okay, there's Squee, which means they're not using a burn spell. No blocks. Taking 4. Okay, now we're going to be Ossification. There's Squee. Use this. Take their Squee. Yeah. Better do some damage tonight, right? That's the issue with this deck. We don't really win. We haven't figured that out yet. Yep. Make them pay 2 more. Hopefully they do just pay the 2 more. But I get my triggers now. Sure. Pay your 2 mana into it. I'll take 1. You're not attacking with your Goblin, but you will fly over. That's understandable. Okay, there's our Wandering Emperor. That's pretty good for us. So let's just play this on our turn.
I'm not overconfident. You're just underwhelming.
Do we... Let's make our buddy bigger. Mind you, I think we kind of have to gain some life. So let's do this. And
This
attack
is
with
what you
everything.
get for hurting my people.
Hopefully get in for 7. They might just throw in front of it. Sure. Okay. Cast their next creature spell, gets +1/+1. They need to do 9 damage to get me, though, and I don't think that's going to be happening. What you got, pal? Okay, well, maybe they were hopeful that that was going to get a +1/+1 counter on it. I don't know. Are you seriously attacking it? You're attacking me. Okay, I take it. Okay, there's our companion. Let's do this.
We've got the edge in this fight.
Non-creature. Okay. Okay. Cool. Let's see what they got here. Lightning Strike with the spell Pierce. Trigger. Sure, pay 2 more into it. That brings me down to 4. Okay, there's a replacement. So let's... do as much damage as we possibly can. So let's distribute these counters.
I have got new moves to teach you.
We can wait to do this. Swing with these guys. Hold up a bunch of blockers. Yeah, play conservative here. So they have to block it. Sure thing. And then we will end our turn with the Wandering Emperor in hand to be able to cast on their turn, make another buddy, and then boost all of our things. I mean, I have them dead on board, right? So they might just forfeit. If they have 2 burn spells, however... If they have 2 burn spells, unless they're both lightning strikes, I can cast the Wandering Emperor and then exile my own monk. Gain me 2 life back. Okay, Bloodthirsty Adversary. Not super terrified of that. Okay. You pay the mana. You pay the 3. And then you cast your lightning strike. Yeah, let's let that resolve. It enters the counter on it. Okay, so now if I take 3 damage, I don't really want to see that happening. Let's play this. Yeah.
I hope you're ready to lose.
Oh, shoot. I chose the wrong one. Typical Magic, eh? Way to go, Arena. Okay, sure. Dang it, Bobby. Give it to our pup for being such a good boy. Alright, good game. We got one. Hey, Ossification did some work there. We were really happy to have that. It turns out that having some more removal, I guess, you know, Standard is pretty creature-centric, so builds that are focused on those creatures is super important. One thing that I think could be good for us is possibly some kind of life gain. This is where putting in this buddy, White Sun's Twilight, is probably pretty good for us. So let's take out 1 copy of Farewell, and I'm going to put in 1 copy of White Sun's Twilight, just as a way of us gaining like pseudo life later on in the game. We'll put that in there. And yeah, not too bad today. You know, we learned a lot about the deck. I think it still needs a lot of work, but we are getting to that point. It's really fun to play though, and honestly, this is the first time I'm really enjoying playing Standard in quite a while. So I'm liking it. Let's stick with it. One thing that I think is probably worth considering is putting in Blood of Tears might be worth considering. Do I have any copies of it though? That's always what it is. Okay, so no, we don't have any copies of it. Is that what it was called? I can't remember. Look at the top X Memory Deluge. That's what I was talking about. Okay, so do we want to consider playing Memory Deluge? The thing is, it's not drawing us, really. It's just putting cards in our hand. We want to be seeing the draw trigger itself. Okay, well, I think that'll pretty much tie us up for the day there, everybody. It's a good time to call it. We had a good win there. Let's save this deck, and we will continue playing it. We're going to keep chipping away on it, and we're going to work on it together, okay? All right, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Again, if you are a fan of all things trading cards, be sure to follow the link in the description below. Check out ZephyrEpic.com. Fantastic deals on cards, box breaks, accessories, you name it, beyond. And yeah, if you live in Lower Mainland, come visit us. We'd love to see you come down to the region.